What's good, everybody? What's good? Another edition of the Unscripted 101 podcast. I'm your host, DJ Briscoe, aka HD. Another edition represented and presented by Beat Fact Music. So let's get down to it. So I saw the deal and I listened to a lot of analysts and I was like, okay, yeah, blah, blah. Everybody has their own little opinions. And yes, I call it little opinions. The reason why I say that is because this trade was bound to happen. And I think for both teams, they are going in two different directions, but not necessarily. But I'll explain. So, as most of the football world knows, Stefon Diggs, he's a former Viking first, which was a team that I cheer for, been cheering for since for a long time. Was traded to the Houston Texans for picks. The details of the trade, if you don't know, you can go online and check it out. I'm sure everybody's got a cell phone, but both teams are in the position to go their separate ways and go their own directions and so it's just one of those things where the team is going to be good. I just like what they got. Houston. I mean, if you look at Houston, let's just start with Houston. And first of all, before I continue, folks, this is not scripted. This ain't unscripted. We don't have people putting powder on and all that stuff. We're not doing all that. We are just, I am, because I am the proprietor also of this podcast. I just come out and say what I have to say, whether people like it or not, blah, blah, blah. But let's just get down to this. Let's just get down to the nitty gritty here of this trade here. So, if you look at the Houston Texans now, they got C.J. Stroud, who's on the rise. Now, I heard some analysts call him a superstar already and this and that. We've had a lot of quarterbacks that have come out and have been deemed superstars, been deemed this, been deemed that. Let's calm down here. Let's just calm down here. What I will say is that he is on the rise. He had a fantastic rookie year. He's got the sophomore year coming, and he's about to put himself in a position to play with some elite guys. On the defensive end, we know you got Danielle Hunter from my Vikings. Then, of course, the Diggs trade. Diggs is the number one. They also got Joe Mixon, which is legit. I mean, Dameon Pierce, who a lot of people were disappointed about last year, but I feel like he's going to be good this year. And two guys that I like, that I've liked from the start, via fantasy, of course, Nico Collins and Tank Dell. I think those guys at some point in time, or either one of them, will surpass Diggs on the depth chart. I just truly believe that. They're young, they're quick, they're elusive, and they're learning, and they're ready to be, or one of them is ready to be the guy. Diggs is 31 years old. Like, how many more years are you going to get out of him? I feel that you can get 3-4 years out of him at 1,000 yards on an average of 5 to 6 touchdowns a year. Guaranteed. That's what I believe. I know he's that talented. But again, you got to see how the offense is. I don't know who the offensive coordinator is in Houston, so we have to wait and see. Are they going to be spreading the wealth type of team, or is it going to be kind of like who's hot? Let's just give it to the hot hand. They also got Dalton Schultz, too, who could do some things. He can give you 700 yards receiving for the year, 3 or 4 touchdowns. That ball's going to be spread around. So Diggs is, for fantasy guys, will Diggs' fantasy be affected a little bit? Absolutely. But will his impact be huge? Absolutely. So for Houston, I feel this is a very, very good trade for them. And I feel like, let's look at this. They were 3-13-1 going into this past season. They were 3-13-1. So they couldn't go any lower than anywhere else. They screwed Lovie Smith over. He won intentionally, according to them. No, he didn't win intentionally. He won because your job is to win games. And then they drafted C.J. Stroud, which dropped right in their pocket, and the rest is history. So, I think Dell was a steal in the third round. I swear, I have always said that Tank Dell was a steal in the third round for them, and he's been playing well. I think he's going to be even better coming in the upcoming season in September and going forward. So that's my take on them. Now, are they going to be a force to be reckoned with in the AFC? It remains to be seen. I'm not here to jump on bandwagons. I know these analysts, these podcasters, and all these people are ready to be like, oh, they're going to be better than Baltimore. They're going to be better than KC. Or they might compete with KC and the Cincinnati's and the Chargers and boom and bap and the Browns, and the Steelers. My reaction to that is calm down. Let's wait and see. CJ Stroud's in year 2, and if he has a okay year 2, it's okay. He's allowed to have that. People don't understand. People are allowed to have an okay year. I feel he's going to be a phenomenal quarterback going forward. If he has a little bit of a bump the first couple games or has a little bit of a bump for a year or two, it's okay. In the long term, this team is going to be absolutely phenomenal, and they're going to do fantastic things. So I just see this as an opportunity for them to go out and do what they can to, execute and be successful as a team. So I think Houston's going to be fine. Now on the Buffalo Bills side, getting rid of Diggs was something that they had to do. They had to do it. No matter what you say, how you feel, what you think, blah, 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 they had to get rid of him. There was just too much going on that we saw and we didn't see. What we heard and didn't hear. So from a business standpoint, it had to happen. Everybody's crying about it. Calm down. It's life. These things do happen. Wide receivers can be divas. They want the ball. They want to be the guy. And it's okay to want to be the guy. I wouldn't want to be number 2 somewhere. I wouldn't want to go into a game and only have 2 targets or 3 targets or have 4 catches for 69 yards. Like any wide receiver in their right mind that is okay with mediocrity games when it's a close win or a close loss is ridiculous. But in Buffalo's position, they had to make the deal. Now, where does Buffalo go from here? Are they rebuilding? Are they trying to make something happen before the season begins? They have the draft coming up. The wide receiver pool in this draft coming up in a couple of weeks is deeper than it's been in years. So they have an opportunity to go out and do something. They got to fix the defense also because they lost a lot of pieces through free agency and just cap casualties and all that type of stuff. Can Buffalo still be a force in the AFC East? Yes, they can. Everybody's already handing it to Miami. That's the usual, when people make changes, automatically the bandwagon starts to load up. Miami, it's all Miami. Boom, boom, boom. Let's relax. The AFC East is a dogfight. We've seen it in the past. We've seen Mac Jones throw 3 complete passes and beat the Bills. Yes, folks, it's fast. Go check the numbers. Go check the stats. The AFC divisional games are always going to be a war. You might win 2 games of the year and 2 of them are against division rivals. It's naturally going to happen. It happens. So Buffalo's going to have a dogfight, but they also got to make decisions on what they want to do going forward. They need to get some receivers. Now everybody's like, oh, they let go of Gabe Davis. They should let go of Gabe Davis. He was never going to be a solid number 2. He was never going to be a number 1, and he's not a solid number 2. So that I understand. I understand the receiving situation. Now Buffalo's got to start looking for some guys who can make something happen. They need a playmaker. Where do they go? What direction do they go? How do they focus? How do they pivot? Can they pivot into a position where they can get somebody? Can we see a shocker in the draft where they make a shocking trade and get a big name? It could happen. Nobody's protected in the NFL except for quarterbacks. Nobody. If you're a franchise quarterback, 99.9% of the time you're good. Everybody else is up for grabs. It's the NFL. It's the biggest glamour story in sports. Free agency had people going crazy. The draft's going to have people going crazy. More off-season stuff's going to have people going crazy. Preseason's going to have us going crazy. The regular season's going to have us going crazy. And so on and so forth. And the cycle continues. That's why the NFL does what they do and do what they do. So, that's what it is and that's how it is. So, folks, that's my take on this whole trade. Good luck to both teams. And to all the fans on both ends, good luck to the fans on both ends. Hopefully both of you guys are satisfied. If you're not, you got to let it marinate and see what happens. You can't just say, oh, that's it. No, you got to let it marinate. We've seen so many teams stack up. It doesn't work. So many teams give up. Look at Kansas City. Kansas City has no number one receiver. They have a bunch of twos, maybe twos, and a bunch of threes, and they won the Super Bowl. A team doesn't always have to have a number one receiver to win. You look at the Baltimore Ravens. You look at the Tampa Bay team that won way back. Not the Tom Brady one. We're talking about the one with that phenomenal defense with Sapp and you know what I'm going to say. So, yeah. So, let's see how this plays out. Good day for both teams. Both teams are happy and life goes on. Folks, this is another edition of Unscripted 101. I'm out. Respect.